Oh, look who we have in the chat to start things off right away. Kyle, one of your favorites.
One of my goats, Wilford Brimley, in the chat today. Wilford, your work in The Thing by John Carpenter, absolutely legendary. So we had to, come on, you have a legend like Wilford Brimley in the chat. Forget the Sixers. We're talking John Carpenter all day.
You got to start the show off with that. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers podcast, live from the Xfinity Lounge, where we got Wilford Brimley in the chat.
The legend.
Derek, Kyle, I'm Devon Bree, is the president of basketball operations, and all of you in the chat. Folks, we're exactly 1 week away from the start of the Sixers basketball season when they take on Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics. Who will be in the Sixers starting lineup and the rotation on that Wednesday night? We're going to put it all together here for you today. Plus, a Jared McCain update. We have some media basketball conversation to get to later in the show. And as always, news and notes. Everybody, good to be with you on a Wednesday here as we have to get started with the latest and the greatest.
Wilford Brimley is killing me.
In there.
Diabetes.
All right, well, let's get to everything that we wanted to talk about today. We'll get to Jared McCain in a little bit, but we wanted to start off with, as many were asking in the chat yesterday, Coleman Potts comes to mind immediately, asking what our starting five would be for opening night. So you ask, we bring it to the table the very next day on the show, and we're doing that here today. So Bree asked us to give our starting five, and she wanted to put together the graphic to make sure we had our starting five in the mix of who we believe will be available for opening night specifically. Not game 2, not game 3, not game 4, just against the Boston Celtics.
Not
1 week from today. Not all of that. Exactly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth. All right. Who? Bree, do we all have?
Do we have some surprises, perhaps?
Do we have some regular? Like, Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Kelly Oubre, Joel Embiid, and the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth is the one that's the question for this afternoon. You went very bold. I went with Dominic Barlow for game 1. And Derek went with Quentin Grimes. Let's start with Derek. Number one, we all agreed on Joel Embiid. What is it from Sunday to yesterday's practice and even today, where you were again, you and Kyle were there today? What is it with Joel Embiid, and then get to your fifth starter?
Well, he's been playing basketball consistently for weeks and weeks and weeks.
That's the rest of the show, everybody.
I mean, look, we've been talking about this all the time. Like there's been no reported setbacks, no days off, no anything that would indicate that he has, tried to increase his participation level. You see how I danced around that R word? Increase his participation level, and there's been no indication of any kind of a setback.
You got unlimited dollars, man.
Look, I don't want to waste a dollar.
You're good.
I'm just saying there's got to be another way to refer to it that is not saying the R word.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
I'm going to bring it up every time.
What did Nick Nurse say yesterday? Threshold.
Yes.
Okay.
Every
checking
threshold.
Boxes.
No, but I mean, at this point, there would have to be a setback. They cannot come out here next Wednesday and be like, look, it's just not part of the plan. He's not there yet. Like, he has been a regular part of practice, a regular part of the scrimmages. He looks like he is ready to play basketball. If he's not, we need to know why. I have no reason to believe he won't be in that lineup on opening night.
All right, why is Quentin Grimes your fifth?
Because he's one of the 5 best basketball players on him.
Correct.
In part, really, it came down to me and this is kind of like a little bit of what I think Nick will do, but also a little bit what I would do. I've said time and time again, VJ's going to start. I need Quentin shooting on there. To me, the last spot came down to, do I believe that Paul George is going to be ready? I'm not there yet. I'm getting closer to being there. I'm not there yet. So since I'm not there yet, who's the most logical? It came down to players like Barlow, like Walker. Fortunately, Watford's not going to be ready either. Or just play Kelly as the small ball. And I just kind of went with Kelly because, again, I think he is the versatility of his defense, the fact that Nick trusts him, the fact that Kelly, I think, probably wants to start and would value starting.
And he's probably going to be the one to get the assignment of Jaylen Brown opening night, where you go from that on down to the other perimeter players, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Anthony Simons, etc.
Yeah. And part of it's just like, if Paul George is out, I think those are your 5 best basketball players and 5 most versatile basketball players. And as much as you would want more size and maybe like someone like Barlow who can give you a little bit of that rebounding, who can really cover ground and maybe play to Nick Nurse's scheme defensively, fundamentally, I just think Grimes and Oubre are your better basketball players. So I'm putting them on the floor to start and going from there. Like I said, where I really debated was, is Paul George going to be ready?
Kyle, you felt Paul George might be ready to have him in your starting 5.
Yeah. So the more we've seen of him after these practices, the more I'm just looking at it like he can play basketball right now. Like there's nothing that I see in these one-on-one sessions. And then once he moves on to like Paul George individual workout that we're seeing him go through, looks like he's in good shape. He's got the sleeve, compression type sleeve on his knee. He's playing. He went from, what was it, yesterday or 2 days ago that they said? I think it was yesterday. Yesterday they said he was reintroduced at practice, right? Today already they're like, he played full court 3-on-3.
Yeah.
And that was like one of their big things.
And this was live, like it was contact. It was
live action.
As close as you can get to
contact. Out there playing. Joel Embiid was in that as well. And you look at it and you say, he's doing that, and you compare that to Trendon Watford was also reintroduced into team activities. Trendon Watford, as far as we know, was not playing full court 3-on-3, right? And if we stick with the theme of, we believe with Joel Embiid, they've been trying to slow play things a little bit, right? Like he's been going through all 5-on-5, a lot of team activities, but they're not necessarily advertising it, or they did not until the last, let's say, week and a half or so, say like start dropping hints. Hey, Joel could be available on opening night. And they are not there with Paul in terms of what they're saying publicly. But if you're just trying to follow the breadcrumbs, it seems like he is maybe a little closer than they are letting on. And so I'm taking the leap to say he could be available on night 1. Not that he will be available, but if it's a prediction show. Who cares?
And if he's hitting all these checking the boxes, there's still a week in between games now where he could very well be available.
And
he's got
Paul George has been in the league long enough that if he doesn't play in the preseason, they're not going to be like, oh, well, he certainly can't start on opening night, right? Like if they feel good about where his body is, if they feel good about he is, again, gone up the ramp, he's checked the boxes, he's hit all the thresholds.
Hell yeah.
Whatever it might be. Why wouldn't you throw him out there, right? As long as there is nothing health-wise that is holding him back, you have every reason in the world to say, Paul George, your time is now, right? I honestly think so. All of us have VJ in this lineup, right? I do think one of the interesting decisions, had Quentin Grimes come back earlier, I think that was probably a real pivot point, right? So we all, at this point, have heard Nick Nurse say, VJ Edgecombe and Maxey, we want them to get as many minutes together as possible. He started alongside Maxey in every game or scrimmage that they've played so far. I do think, to Derek's point about the 5 best basketball players thing, Quentin Grimes is better than VJ Edgecombe right now, right? If you're saying opening night, the most important thing is get your 5 best players on the floor, Quentin Grimes should be in that lineup. And he was not in my 5 that I put out there. That's not because I think he deserves to come off the bench. It's just listening to what the team is saying and expecting, like, hey, they also need help off the bench, right? They need guys who can dribble. They need someone who can run the offense. I think Quentin Grimes can do that job. But I'm getting into la-la land with the Sixers, I guess, at this point is what I'm trying to tell you, with all the Joel optimism, now feeling pretty good about Paul George. It's a weird place to be after the season and the summer, but here I am.
And it was like, Paul was the one that I was sitting here before the show debating. Like, I was really close to putting him in there. I need like one more good practice. Maybe tomorrow he's playing a little 5-on-5. One more good piece of good news. And I think I might put him in there as well. It does feel like they are trying to take the approach this year of under-promising and over-delivering. So who knows how close Paul George might actually be. But it is, I mean, it's getting, like, we thought he could miss a decent chunk of time to start the year.
November.
He should be back pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, the 3-on-3 part is important because that's just about the conditioning at that point, since he hasn't been able to do all the things in camp with everyone else was able to do, play those games in Abu Dhabi, and certainly the last game on Friday. And coming back now, look, he may not be able to play on Friday for the preseason game, but the most important checkpoint will be just him simply being ready to go on opening night against the Boston Celtics. So with that, this conditioning, getting the 3-on-3 runs, he's a veteran, as Kyle said. And with that, he knows how to pace himself in the NBA game as well. So if you have those players out there, whether it's Grimes or someone else, that I mentioned Barlow, so I'll just give my reason for Barlow in a second. But if he's playing out there with Maxey and Embiid, most importantly, he can pace himself with those two out there on the floor. And then if he has Edgecombe and Quentin Grimes as well, he doesn't have to go out there and drop 20. It can just happen within the flow of the game. It's not a must for him to do so. So hitting these checkpoints 1 week away, and if he's good to go after these conditioning sessions that they have and the other things that we don't see because it is behind closed doors before they open the doors for the media, that will be a big plus, a huge plus for the Sixers on opening night. The reason why I went with Barlow is just simply he's not one of their best players, but he's been one of their best players in the preseason
100%.
and training camp, and they are going to need rebounding help out there on the floor for that starting unit. Could he give you that and provide that off the bench? Absolutely, especially with the rotations being done quickly. If there's a 7-minute mark where someone's coming off the floor, if Paul George does start, he's still maybe a little winded, even though he had this conditioning that he's doing now. He might need a quicker hook than somebody else. Barlow might be the first guy off the bench to provide that those 4 minutes for him. But in the event that that is not the case, I went with him because he is the one that's going to help crash the glass. The ball just finds him when it comes to those things that are the intangibles of helping you win basketball games, from rebounding, getting on the floor for those 50-50 balls, that extra hustle play, just the effort that we always discuss that others don't do. He clearly does that. And it's not just rewarding him, because the reward with him being in the top 8 rotation
Just playing
in
it all.
general
Yeah.
in game number 1. This is more of we need somebody out there to help Joel Embiid on the glass. Kelly Oubre will crash the boards, and Tyrese Maxey will help out from the perimeter as well. VJ Edgecombe seems like he's one that will also dig in and help out in those areas as well. But the one sure thing that you know is that Barlow will do that. How much will you get of those results? Don't know yet, because we haven't seen him in a regular season setting in Sixers uniform with this particular group. But that is the reason why I went with Barlow in the starting 5, for those reasons, because of all the intangibles that you need from that fifth starter that's not looking for plays to be called for him, that's not looking for the basketball. He's just out there to help make winning plays, and that's why I chose Barlow.
So let me ask you guys a question. We all also included Oubre, right? All of us apparently feel relatively confident that he's going to be in that group. Did we have our reservations about that, I think, in terms of how we would set up the team? Did you have any hesitation throwing him in there, or are we convinced that he's like locked in, at least as a opening night starter?
I've been locked in on it, as we've discussed this in a lot of different variations because of players in and out, especially when McCain went down and we were unsure of Grimes. I've kept him in there because he is arguably their best perimeter defender. You need someone in today's NBA to check the best guy on the opposite side. And I think for right now, opening night, as you said, day 1, he is the one. I want him on Jaylen Brown, not VJ Edgecombe or not Quentin Grimes, if I have Kelly Oubre. That's why I kept him there. He's played decently enough in the preseason where I still feel comfortable for him to be able to do that stuff. And also the Grimes piece, Jared McCain is not there. You need somebody to be able to score the basketball coming off the bench to provide that punch. And for at least game 1, maybe even just the first 3 games, I think he can come in and do that. So I keep Kelly Oubre to be able to pick up that assignment of Jaylen Brown night 1, let's say Miles Bridges or Brandon Miller night 2, that type of mindset for me when it comes to Kelly Oubre.
What about you, Derek?
So I have real reservations about starting him next to VJ, which I have said before. And if Paul is ready, I think there's a real question. I guess I'll throw it back at you guys a little bit. If Paul is ready day 1, where do you think Nick goes, and where would you guys go? Because I would, if that's the case,
well, if
I
he's
would
healthy,
go.
it'll be the lineup I threw out, or I think it'll be the lineup I threw out there, which is Oubre, VJ, Maxey,
Okay.
George, Embiid.
Is that what you would do?
I agree.
I would play the 3 guards, right?
Okay.
I want Quentin Grimes in the starting 5. He's one. You were 100% right. He's one of their best 5 players. He defends, he shoots, he can attack off the dribble. he is the type of player that you want in a starting lineup and playing as many minutes as possible. I do think, though, that Nurse, and to some extent rightfully so, values that Kelly can be, you're the number one option defender on this team. And so that takes pressure off of Paul. Paul can be in his, weak side, rotation, help defense type of role. It takes a bit of pressure off of VJ, right? That means VJ does not necessarily have to defend true threes. Like you can put VJ on whoever the best backcourt player is for the other team. So he could be the point of attack guy, might be a 2-guard, whoever it might be. Like I think Nurse will look at it that way. I think based on Oubre being in the starting lineup constantly, being someone that Nurse leans on, that's how I think he sees it. It's not what I would do because I do think this team's identity will largely be forged around multi-guard looks, right? Like that's the reality of the roster.
That's
and
what they've been saying.
I would rather go to it sooner. I'd rather open games that way. I'd rather be more of a, hey, you're more like last year's Pacers, right? You're going to play smaller guys, but smaller athletic guys, right? VJ and Quentin are 6'4", 6'5", good size, sort of switchable between different positions, and just try to make as good of an offense as you can. But I think Nurse goes Oubre, and I think you can certainly justify it. There are reasons to do it, but I wouldn't set it up that way.
Pretty good options for the Sixers to start things off on opening night. We'll hear from the head coach and what he had to say about the preseason game as well and what that might look like, the final tune-up on Friday when they host the Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll do it all hanging out with you. First pause of the day right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast.
And guys, we've been talking about it all week. Basketball is back next week. You want to make sure that when it is here, you have a place that you're going to be able to go to and confidently watch the game, because the last thing you want to do is get somewhere and the stream is lagging or it's buffering or the whole watching experience is just a complete disaster. Because if you call yourself a basketball fan, you have to have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination where you can find the best games and watch your favorite teams all in one place. The way that you watch is next level. You got all the action right in your living room, plus Xfinity's best sound and picture with enhanced 4K. So clear, it feels like you're in the arena. On top of that, you get real-time notifications and live stats right on your TV. It's best seat in the house every time. Next game today, make sure that big fan isn't a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box.
Rothman Orthopedics, our presenting sponsor, hanging out with us all summer long and throughout the season here on the show. If your joints or muscle pain is keeping you from doing the things that you enjoy, you need to get it checked out, whether it's walking the dogs, working out, beautiful day outside, you're running along Kelly Drive and you tweak that ankle, or just moving comfortably throughout the day. It's time to take care of yourself and do what you need. You deserve that. At Rothman Orthopedics, you'll find expert treatment for injuries, chronic conditions alike, with personalized care. Focus on helping you move better and sooner. Rothman's 190-plus fellowship-trained physicians specialize in specific areas of the body and a multitude of orthopedic services, including hip, knee, spine, shoulder, elbow, foot and ankle, physical medicine and rehabilitation, trauma and fracture care. They got you covered all the way through. Visit RothmanOrtho.com/PHLY to schedule your appointment today. Rothman Orthopedics, your mobility, their mission.
I know this is a couple of days before, but have you thought about, what you want to do on Friday, how you want to play, what you want to play? You just started this.
Yeah, not a ton, but I think it is our last game. So I think as much as we can get the groups that we want to play together and the rotations that we want to play, as long as we can, I think as many minutes as we can push that out, I think that's what we'd be looking to do. I don't know what that is at all yet. I'm going to probably have to wait till, probably Friday morning to know what that's all going to look like and then start penciling it out there. But I think that's the general thought of let's get the guys that some of them are going to have probably shorter runways than others for the game Friday, but as long as get them together as much as we can.
All right, that is head coach Nick Nurse post-practice talking to the assembled media. Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers podcast here. Make sure you hit that like button. Yes, we see it, Bree. We see Nux there. We didn't even ask, and we got a lot of likes already. We appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button for us here on the show. Kyle, that was another little wrinkle that we just did not know, that this might be with this being the final tune-up before the start of the regular season, you might try to throw everybody out there.
It sort of sounds closer to a dress rehearsal game. And frankly, it probably should be, right? Because compared to other teams around the league, they have spent very few meaningful minutes on the floor together throughout the preseason. There are some big caveats there. They haven't really had the choice when it comes to a couple of these guys, Joel Embiid, Paul George. They're working back slowly. And so once those two guys are out, once Jared McCain is injured, Quentin Grimes in a contract stalemate while they're over in Abu Dhabi, you can't really put together a real rotation. But because of that, that means that Friday has some weight behind it, right? What does a rotation for the healthy or healthy-ish Sixers look like? Who starts? Who's coming off the bench? Who is being staggered, right? That's always one of the biggest questions, right? As much as the starting lineup matters, it's the combinations, right?
Yep.
Who is Joel Embiid playing with? Like, who is his featured partner, featured player? Who is Tyrese Maxey playing with? What is the identity of that group? How many young guys are you putting in each of these different lineups? So a lot of things left to be learned that we frankly just couldn't learn in those first 3 games of the preseason. And so I think from what we've heard from Nick Nurse, I think the fans at home, the people watching, listening, I would look at Friday as like you can read a decent amount into that game as long as it's not a last minute, hey, 4 and 5 guys are scratched, right? If this team has most people available and you see different lineups out there, I would expect them to see that same type of lineup and rotation next Wednesday against Boston.
Yeah. No, and look, all this, like if you have Joel Embiid playing, if you have Quentin Grimes playing, then you should try to make it look relatively normal because this is your last tune-up. And you really haven't had a chance to try any lineup combinations. And that's disappointing. It's a little bit expected because this isn't our first rodeo with Joel Embiid. We don't expect him to play much in the preseason. But with Paul out, with Quentin out too, it's only heightened that. You know, it is, even like the Kelly VJ combination that we were talking about earlier, I would have loved to have seen some of these in practice before the regular season started. Because I'm kind of with Kyle. I care about combinations more than I care about almost anything else. Like we talk about having a scorer come off the bench. I'm not too worried about that because you can just stagger it so you can make sure you always have a scorer. What you have to make sure is when you start the game, the combinations that you have and the skill sets you have on the floor work well together, because that is going to play, first of all, it's going to play, 2 7-minute runs pretty much every game, and it's going to go against the other team's best lineups. You have to have that locked down. And I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty. And if this is a chance where Joel Embiid is actually ready to play basketball and you're comfortable with him playing basketball and Quentin Grimes is ready to go and doesn't really have a huge minutes restrictions, you've got to at least get some data before the games really start mattering.
Big time turn of events, though, because we were talking about this and we were saying, you know what? There's no shot we see him in the preseason.
Still skeptical. Still skeptical.
Yeah, but we're talking about it now just because of him bringing it up, the head coach, where even that wouldn't have been on the table at all for us to even be having this conversation of could we see him against the Timberwolves on Friday. And
we would have laughed at the whole idea.
Exactly. Yeah, but now, as I saw, I think it was Theo saying, man, if Joel plays on Friday, and it's just seeing him out there, just like when we were at the open practice, that people seeing him. Forget the fact, normally it's they're up close and they can see him. No, it's just the fact that they saw him in his uniform and playing with no big giant brace on his knee, and he looked fine and he looked pretty good, and it just brings the excitement back. So with that is pretty cool. I mean, I don't expect, even if Paul George plays on opening night, I'd be really surprised if he played on Friday night. But the Embiid part of it, that piece is really intriguing to find out now that he said he's going to wait till Nick Nurse said Friday morning and we'll figure it out. I'm right there with you, Nick, except for I'm not the head coach, but I can't wait to see if it is, in fact, Joel Embiid getting the call.
I'm going to go out on a limb. I don't think Friday morning will be the first time Nick actually thinks about this. He's telling us, don't ask me about this tomorrow. I told you all I'm thinking about it Friday morning.
He's also saying, I think he also has been effectively traumatized the way we all have dealing with all these injuries over the years, where he doesn't want to say something on Wednesday. There's any kind of issue on Thursday. And then it's like, well, you lied to us, Nick. So I can understand and appreciate 100%. The cautious approach that he's taking.
But the other piece, too, is outside of the Embiid part, when we discuss that it sounds like Quentin Grimes will most likely play. Both Grimes said it, and, of course, Nurse mentioned it yesterday post-practice, and hearing what Nurse had to say about everybody being available, that's the other part. We've seen Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe out there with other guards because of the 3-guard lineup idea, but it has never been the real 3-guard lineup because Grimes wasn't there, McCain unavailable because of the injury. Now we'll get to see that on Friday, and that's another big piece.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of balls in the air right now. Actually, one of my, as we talk about the rotation I do think if Kelly Oubre, for example, was not starting, he does fit into kind of the vision I would have for what is the identity of that second group, where it's going to be a Dembona, you're going to have potentially Quentin Grimes in that group, you're going to have VJ staggering with Maxey more than likely, right? You can get a lot of athletes on the floor, and you can run up and down, you get stops, a Dem is blocking shots, and then it's just guys, filling lanes. And so there are some interesting wrinkles or looks within the rotation that I've wanted to see that we just have not gotten a chance to. And I hope that starts on Friday. I hope that it does, because that would be the biggest disappointment after all this. I get it'll just be the final preseason game and who cares, but it would suck to get to all this build up and like, hey, all these guys might play. And then we get the like nine name, 8 name inactive list at like 2 p.m. on Friday would be a big anvil on top of our heads. And at that point, I'd just have to call myself Wile E. Coyote and be like, how did I fall for it again? But I'm hoping that's not the case.
You mentioned not caring about the scoring off the bench because of the staggering, though. But when you do look at a lot of the winning lineups around the NBA, I'll say, for the teams that advance in the postseason, a lot of them are featured, though, with a guy that starts that off. Not that you can't stagger, but he starts off as that sixth man that comes in and gives the punch.
Sure, sometimes. Sometimes that's because that sixth man is defensively challenged and you don't want to put him out there at the starting lineups. You want to bring him in there when you can dictate the matchups a little more. A lot of times what I look at is versatility, and a lot of times the scorers, the real electric scorers, there tends to be, if you have 6 good scorers, one of them can be a huge defensive liability. And those defensive liabilities, I think it just makes more sense to bring off of the bench because, like I said, you can pick when you bring them in. You can pick the matchups they're going against. You can find someone to hide them on. So if you got someone who's really talented as a scorer, but you don't know what to do with them defensively, starting lineup's tough. They're going to get picked on. Bring them off the bench. I think that's where it goes a lot.
So
of times. Like McCain might be a sixth man just for that reason.
But with the Grimes piece, because you look at him more of as a two-way guy that can defend, hold his own, you're comfortable with him being right.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. How about you?
Like Lou Will, perfect example of a historical sixth man because you can dictate when he comes in.
Yeah, like look, I think part of the logic behind Grimes not starting is after last year, what we saw at the end of last year, I feel better about, hey, because McCain is not there and because I don't want to see the Kyle Lowrys of the world on the floor, he's someone I feel good about as a shot creator, right? That he's coming in and like, not that he is a quote unquote point guard, right? I don't think any of us view him as that.
He can ball handle.
But
he can handle
if he's bringing the ball up the floor, if he's getting you into your sets and especially like a lot of those will probably be, if he's on the floor as the lead guard, Joel Embiid will probably be on the floor, right? And you play through him. I feel pretty good about him in that spot compared to when he arrived here. That was more like the book on him was, he probably thinks he's a little too good of a shot creator compared to what his skill set is, but he proved that perception, I think, pretty wrong during the final couple months of the year. So while McCain is out and while they're trying to figure that out, I think him in that off the bench guard role makes a lot of sense. Again, I still want him ultimately in that starting lineup, and I'm always more pro staggering and just like, hey, this guy comes out 5-minute mark, this guy comes out at the 10-minute mark, and you can figure it out that way. But they got some, when they are healthy, they have some different looks they can tinker with. And it'll be nice to bring in players off the bench that have real juice, right? Like McCain as a bench guard, you get rid of Maxey, like Maxey hits the bench and you're like, I don't have to chase this guy around. Oh, here comes Jared McCain hitting threes off of screens and doing what he does. Like, that's a nice luxury for this team to have for sure.
You mentioned Jared McCain. Jared McCain mentioned some things today to the media post-practice. We're going to hear from the second-year man who is itching to get back on the floor after sustaining the UCL injury to his shooting hand. And when will that be? He'll give us a bit of an update when we get back right here. Final pause of the show. We'll also maybe round out the rotation for the start of game one of what that might look like when we go. Can they go 9 deep, 10 deep? For Nick Nurse against the Boston Celtics. We'll talk about that. Media conversation against pros. We'll get into that.
Not in this lifetime.
News and notes as well right here. Final pause on the PHLY Sixers podcast. whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Derek, would Bet365 put together a prop bet for media versus Sixers coaches? And
Well, they won't because it's never going to happen.
well, if they did, Bet365 would be the place to be. Also, since we are a week away from the Sixers starting the season, but 6 days away from the start of the official NBA season when they tip off on Tuesday night, I'm looking at some of these NBA championship odds, and your basketball team is plus 3,500 right now, tied with Atlanta, but in front of Detroit and Boston and Milwaukee as well. The Joel Embiid buzz may be picking up some steam. So if you want to jump in on that number and you feel like that's a pretty good one to get in and steal a pretty good ticket overall at Bet365, do so. And if you are a new user, here's what you get. You get breaking news from us, new customers. Get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose. Just sign up, use code PHLY365. When you do, deposit 10, place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. No problem at all. Bet365, go sign up, download the app. Must be 21 plus, physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And guys, I know a lot of you are just as excited for the start of the NBA season as I am. That's why you have to use the Game Time app to get the best price tickets in the best sections, knowing that you're getting the absolute guaranteed best price. If you're excited about this potential dress rehearsal game on Friday, I know it's the preseason. On Game Time, you can get tickets for $5 a piece at the Xfinity Mobile Arena.
Wow.
$7 a piece. Like, there are tons of value.
Clearly
tickets.
not heard the Joel news.
Clearly, they have not been paying any attention to what we've been saying and what we've been seeing. But that's the advantage you can take advantage of, right? There are also a lot of great features within the Game Time app, right? You get panoramic seat views. So when you're looking at those $5 tickets, or maybe you're looking closer to courtside, you're really feeling yourself. You want to be up close and personal. You can see exactly what it'll look like when you buy those tickets. Of course, you get the lowest price guarantee. Of course, fees are included. So you see all the pricing up front. There are no surprises when you check out. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it, Devon?
Game time!
Woo!
But it's all part of the process. I just got to continue to trust that it happens for a reason. It sucks because I feel like I was right there, so close to being back, and then just another setback. But I'm always going to stay grounded, stay with gratitude. But yeah, just been doing simple stuff. I can't really do too much with the brace on, but moving at the same timeline as they said, and we'll see where it goes. Yeah, next step, I think I'm being reevaluated in like 2 weeks now. So I'll get this off, and then I'll have like a playing brace, and then just start, passing, dribbling, just doing all the steps for that. And then we'll see from there when they let me play.
Jared McCain, post-practice. First time speaking to the media since having that surgery.
Yep.
And you were there. You asked the question. And what he seems like the normal Jared McCain that he always is.
He was pretty open about it. Was very tough for him, having climbed all the way back from the meniscus injury. He feels like he's through that. He's past it. And then on a sort of freak play, this happens. He gets the news, and he was very upset about it. And he used the line at one point. It was, life keeps throwing haymakers at him, I believe was the phrasing. But you guys can see it in the video, and we could hear it being there. He's still got a big smile on his face, still pretty positive. I would say very positive, certainly compared to the people who are sitting here on this stage in front of you. But yeah, so Jared's about 2 weeks
away. Freaking sunshine. What are you talking about, man?
He's about 2 weeks away from moving away from more of that. I don't know. It's like, what would you call it? Like a hard brace, we would say, to a playing brace. I don't think it should be that long after that. Some of that will just be getting adjusted and learning how to play with that in the short term. But he has apparently been in the gym working a lot on the lower body, making sure his knee is good and getting his conditioning work in. Nick Nurse complimented him and said, like, look, Jared is here to make no excuses, right? This is not something that he has used to, woe is me, and I'm not going to show up and do my work. And so he's the type of kid who will respond to this the right way, has responded to this the right way. So it sounds to us Like, he's on the right track. It's just the time has to pass. You have to hit the check all the boxes, go up that ramp, as they say, throw the dollar in the jar. But everything is sounding pretty good for Jared McCain.
Cannot expedite a recovery timeline.
Nope.
Yeah. Just trying to get one more Brett Brownism in there. No, he seems like he is taking it well. Like Nick Nurse mentioned that like he gets in there pretty early, and somehow Jared McCain's still getting in there beforehand, doing everything with his left hand, doing what he can do to try to do any kind of basketball drills, and you just got to wait for it to heal and get the cast off. It's not something where I think if we said this before, and I hate saying it, but it's like if there's anyone who's going to be like, man, this sucks, and then the next day wake up and have the right attitude and get right back into work. I got this. It's Jared.
Yeah,
he'll be fine.
So when the Sixers gave out the update, well, Jared McCain actually told us when he was super, feeling good after his surgery.
Feeling good is right, laying in that bed.
It was October 1st when the Sixers gave the official medical update on Jared McCain. So if we would just simply go from the first to the first, he's going to miss 5 games, starting with the season opener, Charlotte, Orlando, Washington, and then Boston once again. November 1st, they're off. They play the 2nd, which would be away at Brooklyn. That would be November 2nd. So that's right around that 4-week timeline that we're speaking of. So he may not miss a lot of time if all things goes well, and he would be right back in the mix pretty quickly to help his team. And that's pretty good, all things considered, because we were talking 4 to 6, 6 to 8, and it looks like he got the better end of it with this particular injury and how bad it was or how bad it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, we'll ultimately have to wait and see if he does end up on the front end of that timeline with getting back out on the floor, right? Because Jared even joked about it a little bit. He said, I think I'm in good shape, right? I think I'm in game shape. And then you go out there and you play in a game and you're like, oh God, I'm not in game shape. It's an experience that basically every athlete in every sport goes through. And so we'll see if he's there physically with the limitations he has. The good thing about it being a hand, right, is he can still get out there and run. The cardio should not suffer too bad. So I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much on, hey, maybe he'll be there right at that 4-week mark. But I think I feel pretty good about saying this is not going to be a prolonged thing. Maybe he misses the opening stretch of games, but hopefully not a whole lot more than that.
Theo got excited and says, low key, those opening 5 games, we can go 4-1.
Well, listen, if they have Joel.
Last year was 1-4. Wasn't it? It was 1-4.
After last year, I settled for 3-2. Right. If you're above 500, they feel like they won the damn championship. Because
you're two tough teams because you play Boston twice. 2 Boston, 1 home, 1 away. And Orlando at home, and then you have Charlotte and Washington in there in those 5.
And you got to win those 2.
You got to win those 2, and you have to split with Boston, and there you go. So there's that. All right, real quick, the rotation. Since we've talked about all that, what's the 9-10 right now for you to start off? If we gave,
I sent Bree. I don't know if Bree made any kind of graphic for the full rotation. Oh, see, I'm the special.
Yeah, you are special.
I'm the overachiever for once in my damn life. So to remind everyone, my starting 5 was being ambitious and throwing Paul George out there, assuming he might be available. Was Joel Embiid, Paul George, Oubre, Edgecombe, Maxey. I think there are 4 guys that I'm like they're gonna play. It's Quentin Grimes, Adem Bona, Justin Edwards, and Dominic Barlow is the guy right now for me. Now, would Barlow be there if not for this Watford injury? I would say probably not. And is Jabari Walker a potential guy to play? I think yes. But right now, if you're just looking at front court player who has shown the most, who, as Devon talked about earlier in the show, fills a role that they need as like a dirty work rebounding guy, Dominic Barlow has been that guy, right? So there was no one else that I could look at on the roster, the available roster anyway, that I was like, you're going to stretch this into a 10-man rotation. Normally on night 1, I'd say you're playing 10, and maybe if PG plays, they will play 10 just because like I would imagine he'll be limited in minutes in the early part of the season. But those were the 9, and specifically the 4, Grimes, Bona, Edwards, Barlow, that I said, I think they'll play night 1.
How about you?
So I had Maxey, VJ, Grimes, Oubre, and Embiid. I'm assuming that Paul George is not ready to go on opening night. So I will start off with Kyle No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God.
I
Scared
wanted
me.
I wanted to like have Kyle in my starting five just to get a jump scare from Kyle out of it. I would look Bona as the backup, Edwards, Barlow, and probably Walker as my ninth man, but I'm not 100% in love with it. Ideally, Paul George comes in and you're playing a 9-man rotation and see which one of Barlow and Walker win that sort of role and go from there.
So I had the same no Paul George in mind, because if so, he would be starting. Embiid, Maxey, Oubre, Edgecombe, Barlow. That's the starting 5. Grimes, Bona, Edwards, and Walker was the 9th. If George plays, then maybe that changes, and Walker maybe on the back end, maybe he gets in for some situational minutes. None of us said Andre Drummond at all, and it's not even to be the primary backup. We just didn't say him to get any minutes.
Yeah.
If Joel's not playing,
You only
he
need one
certainly
backup.
will play.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you only need one.
Bona appears to be clearly ahead of him.
Yeah, so that's the 9 or 10.
Which, thank you, Nick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was very skeptical that would happen. So that was right from the rip too, right? There has been no doubt Bona has started over Andre in every game, and there has really been no drama surrounding that as far as we can tell.
Or thank you, Drummond, because simply maybe he just wasn't good enough, and Nick Nurse.
I'm not going to thank a player for not being good enough to start over.
Devon over here thanking him for being
Thank
washed.
you for being washed. In that case, if that is in fact the case. All right, we do want to tell you about. Make sure you go and subscribe and become a member of the Supporters Club. Everybody, if you see that SC by the names there in the chat and you're wondering what is that, why do I not have an SC next to my name? Well, you got to be a part of the Supporters Club. We have started that, rolling that out last month. 2 tiers we have, $4.99 and $14.99. And with your membership, you get unique behind-the-scenes footage each week. We have done ours twice already. All the other beats have done theirs as well. So please go sign up. You get the great emojis that you see there. You can do the roll call emoji. You can do some birds emojis that you have, a bunch of them for the Eagles. Unfortunately, Phillies messed things up for the postseason where you can't continue to use those for the postseason. But
Baseball's not real anyway.
here he goes with that one. Nevertheless, go sign up, become a Supporters Club member, allphly.com, and you'll have your name and the emojis available to you right there on the screen, and you will have some great access to a lot of things. And while you're at it, at allphly.com, go become a diehard member.
Well, I was going to say,
allphly.com.
I'll take it a step further, Devon. Maybe you want to go on a road trip with people from PHLY.
Maybe you do.
Maybe you're ready for the ultimate Flyers getaway. PHLY and Philly Sports Trips taking the Diehards west for the California takeover with Flyers legend John LeClair. It's from March 17th to the 22nd, hitting the West Coast for 2 huge games. Anaheim Ducks at Honda Center, and the LA Kings at Crypto.com Arena. Your package includes optional round-trip direct flights from Philly, a 5-night stay at the beautiful Sanborn, Santa Monica, group tickets to both games, Flyers watch party, exclusive meet and greet with Legion of Doom member John LeClair, plus the Philly Sports Trips crew. We'll be there to handle every detail, so just enjoy the sun, sights, and the hockey. California vacation that every Flyers fan has dreamed of, with a couple wins to top it off, hopefully. Spots are limited. Book your trip today at allphly.com/events.
Optimism. 1
is
week
weird,
away
right?
from the Sixers season. We had no idea we would be
Hip-hop's
in this
back.
spot.
The Flyers won a
The
game.
optimism was this black jerseys coming back. That's where it was.
Hey, I will say, they finally bring back the thing, which, again, I always thought was a little overblown, right? But they bring back this thing that people wanted. They bring back hip-hop. And things seem to be cheerier around here. I'm not saying that the black jerseys have caused all of this. I'm just saying that we can't prove that they didn't cause all of this.
All
so
you
maybe
were the black jerseys.
you shouldn't have made the fake black jersey Boathouse Row
So bad.
Well, I mean, look,
fiasco.
everyone knows that's a fact. That doesn't
Come
even have
on.
anything to do with
So
these black
bad.
jerseys.
So
But
bad.
at least, look, again, it's the 25th anniversary and it's a nice round number and whatever. But
Go buy our black Sixers t-shirt at
There you go.
store.allcitynetwork.com to get your Sixers theme 2000-2001 logo t-shirt to get ready for the games as well. Make sure you go check that out once again at the PHLYlocker.com. All right, Optimism for the Sixers? Yes, the arrow is pointing up. Derek had no optimism when I asked him about the odds from Bet365 for the Sixers media versus the Sixers coaching staff. That is because the Boston Celtics, it's normally the Boston Celtics media versus the Boston Celtics media. And I think they eventually did that yesterday.
That's what they showed up at the facility for, as far as I
and they
understand.
did do
yesterday.
it. However, Joe Mazzulla decided, the maniac that he is, you guys are going against our coaching staff this season to start the year off. And boy, did it get pretty ugly, because I think the first score didn't come till 28-2, I believe it was.
And here comes the final shot, final make for Celtics coaches, as you all see the score. 57-4.
And that was a rainmaker, too, from about 40 feet from the logo. I don't even know who shot that one, but it didn't matter. It's the Celtics coaches. They blew out the media. Not surprising. Derek gave the odds just like, million. I don't even know what it was, like a plus $1 million with the odds. So I wanted to ask you guys, how would the Sixers, collective media, not PHLY, just us three and Rich, us four, and Bree, us five, the collection of media from all around, what would the number look like?
This was brought
Horrible.
This was actually brought up today at practice. We were talking about it with Nick. Do we get like Mark Jackson? Can we recruit Mark Jackson? He's media.
They have players in Boston. They didn't use them.
Well, they should have.
Like
They lost 57-4. I'm not following their lead. No offense.
Because I think Eddie House does television for them. They have players.
I mean, Scalabrini
is there. They didn't use. So I would say I agree with you with Mark Jackson in the cheat code there.
Get Allah in there.
Yes.
Get some size on the interior.
100%.
But here's the thing, right? If you're taking actual basketball players out of it, it would be a massacre. And I bring this up on the show in other ways, right? Like I've relayed the story. I grew up, my neighbors as a kid were the Carroll brothers. So Pat played on the St. Joe's team with Jameer Nelson. Matt was one of the only 2,000 point scorers in Pennsylvania high school history, played at Notre Dame, played for the Bobcats, the Spurs, couple teams. And it was just like a, like back of the rotation type player at his peak, right? And you put that guy or either of those guys on a court with regular people, and Matt Carroll is Michael Jordan, essentially, right? Is like what he looks like. Or like you'd see examples of DeAndre Jordan is basically run and dunk man in the NBA, and you put him in a gym in a pickup game, and he's taking like 17-foot mid-range pull-ups and cashing out on them, right? And so the level at which NBA players is at is impossible for people to fathom. But even still, as like assistant coaches, right? Like a bunch of those guys played in the NBA, right? Like Phil Pressey was in the NBA because he would pick up full court and play defense, right?
And can hit threes. And they went into a game against people who are like, I can't speak to the relative athleticism of the Celtics beat, right? But these people are just like, they're like normal people, right? They're just like maybe they're athletes, but they're athletes relative to a normal person off the street, playing against people who every single day of their professional lives are training with and preparing professional players to play basketball. So the craziest thing I saw coming out of this Celtics media thing was, and Adam Mares at our Denver site, I saw some Clippers media members. Adam was like Nuggets media by 7.5 or so. You have to be insane to believe. You have no concept of how bad of a drubbing you would get at the hands of these people. And anyone who believes otherwise is totally delusional.
You're not getting 2 dribbles off against Phil
If
Pressey.
they don't want you to score, you are
Yes.
not scoring. You are not at their level. There are like some rare exceptions, right? Like there are media members
Passing
who are
the ball.
like real hoopers
Pass the
who
ball.
like can hang a little bit. But by and large, you are getting absolutely destroyed. And there's nothing wrong with that.
So
you are not a professional basketball player or coach.
So I think I can hang a little bit, right? And I remember playing in charity.
You haven't run in 2.5 years, my
Exactly.
man. What are you talking about?
and when I didn't tear anything, I would play in these like local charities.
Devon's like, I agree, but I would be fine.
I would play in these local charity games, like celebrity games and all that stuff. And Alvin Williams is on the other side. Doug Overton is on the other side. I can't dribble against those guys.
Yeah, no, you can.
No.
And they were retired.
Yes.
Imagine playing against TJ DeLeo, Reggie Redding, Torrey Murray, and these guys on the Sixers staff
You get
trying to
destroyed.
dribble against them.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult
Yes.
to do. It's going to be very difficult. So you can't, I don't know. Would I be up for it? Would I do it? Hell yeah, I would do it. But will we have a lot of success? I don't know. It would have to be, I don't think
I know.
so.
The answer is no.
No, I agree with you. I don't think so. I don't think so. And it would be fun. It would be interesting. And I've played out there, and no, it would be really bad. I agree with you guys. It would be just as bad as 59-4, 57-4, whatever.
I
that
don't
final
care
score was.
how old Sam Cassell is at this point. He is absolutely tearing it up. There's no chance.
Malcolm Brogdon just retired from basketball, by the way.
Yep.
So breaking news.
There's that.
Hit
All right,
the
that
alarm
opens up
bell.
a roster spot for Landry Shamet.
Maybe we can add him to the media team. He seems like a guy who, if we can get recently retired player Malcolm Brogdon on our team, maybe we can score double-digit points.
All we have to do, guys, just pass the ball. Stop dribbling against everybody. Pass the rock.
Well, like, look,
Pass the rock.
I brought up Adam just because I saw him say something. There are a lot of other people who were feeling a little too big for their britches yesterday. I love Jay King at The Athletic, who was part of the Celtics contingent who played. He played in college, right? And I think he pretty regularly hoops. And he went out there and said, this was the worst day of my life.
Yeah.
Basically, that's how bad it was. The Celtics guys were like diving on the floor for loose balls, and you don't have a chance.
Guess what? I try to play against my cousin. He's really good. It's not happening, right? It's not happening. All right.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Could we get Kyle Lowry on the media team?
It's a fair question.
Because
It's a fair
he's an
question.
Amazon Prime.
It's
I'll
fair.
work on the recruiting, the Kyle to
It's
Kyle
fair.
connection.
I saw somebody say,
Just make sure he doesn't watch any clips from this show.
Jameer would like destroy you, all that. Jameer
Of course
would
he would.
technically be part of their
Oh,
team. He
I
would
said in the
destroy
media
us.
room, I was like, all we need is Elton Brand to come down out of the front office, because I'm probably Derek or I, we're like the tallest members, regular members of the beat, right? So I'm playing effective center. All I need is Elton Brand to come down and take me in the post one time, and that's oh, my leg,
That's
leg, I'm out.
That's it.
I can't play anymore.
Tom Jackson's like, they would be full court pressing. First of all, that court is really big. It's not going to your normal gym. That is a really big basketball court, and I don't think a lot
And
of
we
the
don't have a
media
lot of
members
people who are making NBA threes either, by the way.
Yeah, and I can make the short corner ones in the wing. The top of the key ones are really difficult to shoot.
No, we did, because we did that when they used to have the media
Yeah.
games. Like they used to let us shoot like around the horn, like
Because we would have the
3-point style
three-point
shootouts.
contest. Yeah.
From the corners, I'm like, yeah, I can make 2 out of 4 pretty consistently. You get above the break, and it's like, whoa, that's coming up 2 foot short.
Yeah, it's
I don't
not
shoot
easy.
from that deep.
It is not easy to take those shots. All right.
Elton Brand putting me through the stanchion.
man.
First play.
Yeah.
Bam.
The ringer with that one, man. All right. Let's get to some news and notes so we can wrap up the show. Of course, roll call we're going to have a little bit later. But let's get to some news and notes. It's the food edition, everybody. The food edition.
Always intrigued.
Always intrigued. I'm not sure if the guys have heard about these. So, Bree, whatever you want to throw up there first, let's have at it. Oh, Josh Hart, big candy guy.
This has already come up in the Newbeck household.
So, Josh Hart, for those who have not seen it, Kyle obviously has. Don't know about Derek, maybe not you guys, has become the first ever, as James Edwards covers the Knicks in New York, says first ever chief candy officer for Mike and Ike. By the way, if you follow Josh Hart, he is a huge Mike and Ike guy. Makes sense here. My question to my family here, chief candy officer, who are you the chief candy officer for? We're big candy
I mean,
people
Josh
here.
Hart, I love Mike and Ike.
We are here.
He stole my job.
That's
this
your
is
job.
my dream, was being the first ever NBA player and also chief candy officer of Mike and Ike. So, Josh Hart, I'll see you in hell.
It's peanut butter cups, and it's not even close.
You're the
Okay.
candy officer for that one?
Yeah.
Are there any things that you're doing differently in terms of like collaboration? Because you have the holiday theme ones.
Yeah.
You mix it with ice cream. You get those. You get cookies where it's the Chips Ahoy, Reese's Cups, all that stuff. Are you doing anything that hasn't been done as a chief candy officer?
I'd have to think about that. I know they recently just came out with with Oreos. They had a mixture in. I will say, I always feel like the holiday ones, there's a better mixture of peanut butter.
They're the best.
They're always
you
the
get
best.
the Easter one, you get the Christmas
Yeah.
tree one. Yeah.
So I just get rid of the normal ones. Go all holiday.
All holidays. All right.
Better.
Just year round.
Yep.
All right, Kyle, you were Mike and Ike's, but Josh stole it.
Okay, so there are 2 candidates. Starburst, I love, and I
Ooh.
specifically love the sour mini Starburst are fire. But the one that is probably most me that I would have less competition for, because this is an old man candy, lemon heads.
Oh,
Okay.
Love
it.
lemon heads.
Love
They
it.
destroy my teeth, but I'm just like chomping away on those things. I love lemon heads. Lemon heads, you can send me product at any time. There is no amount of lemon heads you could send me that I would not eat within a week or so. Let's say that.
Send them to Kyle.
The chief,
all the lemon
chief
heads.
candy officer of lemon heads.
Listen, man, lemon heads when I was younger. The Johnny Apple seeds were fantastic when I was younger.
Oh, I forgot about those.
Johnny Apple seeds. The Boston baked. What did they call them? The Boston.
I'm not
baked
riding
beans.
for those.
Well, we used to love those, and there were so many other ones that were out there as well. The hot ones that they had, the red hot ones, those are also great. Bree, what's yours? You're the chief candy officer for what product?
I gotta go trolley like sour worms.
Oh, that's a great one.
Those have been my fave for like ever. So
All right,
Hell
love
yeah.
that one.
My backup was Sour Patch Kids. That would be
Okay.
my number 2.
Those are good.
The original or okay,
Yeah.
all right.
That watermelon stuff.
I've once
Yeah.
bought a customized flavor package of 5 pounds of Sour Patch Kids
Yeah.
that has my name on the box.
We used to have a Sunoco down the street that used to buy them for a penny each. And I would walk in there with like $2 and like count out 200 pieces of Sour Patch Kids. It was awesome.
All right, here's mine. Just quickly, I'll just go with I'm really, all of you know I love candy. You've seen it out there. We've had them during shows when we've done our watching longs candy.
Like the only thing I ever see him eat.
Yeah, just candy, and I love it. My favorite of all time is just simply original gummy bears. Just
the Haribo you're
let's
talking about?
rock out. Yes,
So technically those are gold bears.
yes. I'm not calling them that.
Listen.
They are gummy bears.
But those they'd be my third. They're in the
Okay.
top 3 for me.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah, there used to be some other ones like I forgot. Is it Bratch's? I think it's Bratch's brand. Those used to be my favorite, but they, I guess,
I'm just jotting all these
those.
notes down for when I get
Yeah.
you guys big sacks of candy.
Discontinue those.
Now that's a sack I'll display.
Oh,
That's it.
that is a sack to display.
There you go. All right, so those are my gummy bears. We're running out of time. The other one, and I saw it, SB Cole, I gotta buy you some of these because, Bree, let's show the family here the other ones. Have you seen the Arby's steak nuggets?
I'm out.
No.
Arby's steak nuggets are a thing.
I'll try it.
I
I'm
would
out.
Try it.
Those
Yeah.
I would try.
someone on TikTok said they taste like squirrel. So I don't know if I would try.
Oh, we're
How
not
do they
getting
know
that
what
Arby's
squirrel tastes
partnership
like?
now. Jesus, Bree.
That doesn't help. I don't know what squirrel tastes like.
They didn't say it
You
was
blew
good.
it, Bree.
They said it was good.
They said it was good. Who says it tastes like squirrel? And then it's like, it's good.
I guess people like squirrel.
Oh my God.
I'm
What
with
is-
you, Derek. I would try it. My mom,
try it, sure.
my mom used to make beef cubes when we were younger.
Yeah.
Just basically cut up the beef cubes and we have it with mashed potatoes or rice or whatever.
Yeah, but I would know that those are
Fantastic.
made out of something I would want
Elk,
to eat. at that
squirrel?
point.
I eat Taco Bell meat.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you
Be
do.
careful over there.
Oh, that's right. You still. Oh, you got to get that.
Oh.
yeah. You got to be careful.
Come on, man.
Bree, you in? Arby's steak nuggets?
I'll try. I like Arby's, so sure.
Huh.
I don't know.
Don't they have like a chicken sandwich now?
Their buffalo chicken sandwich is fire.
Interesting.
That is what they have. That's like the best.
Okay.
I know
I'm
it's like
out.
a hot
I did
take,
not
but
know
yeah.
I'm the meme of Damon from the Shark Tank. I'm out 1.3 seconds. No shot. Not in this lifetime.
Theo said raccoon meat.
Welcome to Overtime, everyone. For all our Fast Channel watchers, you can join us at allphly.com. Thank you for watching. Conversation continues.
Final one, news and notes basketball related. The name is off the board. Russell Westbrook signing with the Sacramento Kings. There's that. Any surprise there? Change anything for you with the Kings?
It does not. No.
All right.
It makes me
same.
feel about exactly the same way I felt about the Kings, which is not good. And that's not really
100%.
about Russ. It's
No.
it's about that roster is.
It's not good. It's
And Keegan
not good
Murray's
at all.
out for what? 4 to 6.
Same-
He had
same
the same
injury.
injury as Jared, so
Same
4 to
injury.
6 weeks, and he got hurt later on. So
Yep, absolutely.
get well soon to Keegan Murray.
That's the news and notes, everybody. Fun times, raccoon meat. We're not doing that, but we might try the RB steak nuggets here on the PHLY Sixers show with a lot of you out there. Kyle's out on the RB steak nuggets. All right, let's get to it. It's the
With all
world
due
famous-
respect, no.
Did we talk about the reunion game?
Did we do that
The
yesterday?
what now?
I don't think we did anything yesterday because we only did.
Oh, we did
Gilbert.
not.
I don't think we talked about the reunion game on January 31st.
Oh, well, please let everybody know.
There's a reunion game for the 0-1 team on January 31st.
Coaches
Against
and
the
players.
Pelicans.
All right, we talked about it.
Yeah. My only comment
they
about
playing?
that.
It'll be fun.
Are they
Like having them
playing?
all in the building will be cool.
No, they're not going to play. I
So what is
think
the
they're
game?
they're just a reunion.
What-
It's just a reunion of all the old players.
Oh, okay. So that's when everybody comes
yeah, and the
back
coaches and
and
whatnot.
just honors everybody.
I think my only comment is like clearly they put against Pelicans because you want to sell tickets because that's a tough game to sell tickets to. Can't you do it against a team that's going to stink but was also around and maybe a rival in 2001? Like Pacers, they're not going to have a great year because of the injuries. Raptors, something like that.
Yeah.
I would like to know one tie.
Well, the Raptors
not a
was
team
the
that literally
opener.
didn't exist in 2001.
Raptors is the first black jersey game, and it's the hip hop re-intro.
Yeah.
So I
Also-
think they didn't want to overload on one of those.
It was a
teams.
pretty good rivalry back then. No,
Yeah.
Also, even though they've probably been way ahead of this and trying to make sure they schedule everything out to get the players in town that are not here, like Aaron McKee's here, but Jermaine Jones is here, others that are not here, scheduling related, maybe
Yeah.
they had to pick
No,
that
that might be
particular
it.
day.
That
So
might be it.
that might be one thing there.
Do we think any team will ever go back to doing an old timers game?
So
Has
the-
that ever been a thing in basketball?
so
It used to be a
Knicks-
big thing in baseball, and
Yeah.
now the Yankees are like the only team that does it.
The Knicks do something along those lines, and they did it just 2 days ago, I think it was, where they have famous people plus the players. So it could be like influencers and local celebrities in New York. But Al Harrington, J.R. Smith, Steve Novak, Tim Thomas, I saw all of them in uniform
Yeah.
playing, and I think that's maybe as close as it's going to get.
So there's a big in like European soccer, for example, they regularly play essentially like their version of that, where they bring back a lot of players, and that's when the club team is on international break. They bring all the old heads out of retirement and say, go play a charity match, which is cool. But I think part of the reason they don't do these, for example, so the Yankees went 6 years without playing the game. They still do Old Timers Day.
Mm-hmm.
This year was the first time since 2019 that had a game. Mariano Rivera tore his Achilles tendon.
Yeah, I saw that.
So there's a good reason that they don't have the, because a lot of these guys too are like, Rivera is fairly recently retired compared to some of these guys. I'm imagining like 60-year-old former NBA player coming
Yeah.
back and just makes it up the court one time and falls over. And I think there's probably good reason they don't
let
do
him
those,
coach.
but
Let him coach the games and
maybe do like a
Bring
3-point
something
shootout, some kind. I don't know. There's probably something, or horse even at halftime.
We haven't done the media thing since like before COVID.
Yeah.
Right before COVID.
Right before COVID.
Sixers haven't brought that back yet. I don't know. It was always fun. All right, let's get to it. The world famous. We'll be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Big show tomorrow. Prediction show. Stay tuned for that one.
Ain't nobody, and I'm including Bree on this, nobody write those down. Nobody.
Yeah, like Bree won't show all of them from last year. All right, it's time for the world famous. It's the roll call.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. As always, hit that damn like button. We got a good amount of likes, but way more people in the show who could hit that button. It's so easy. It helps me sleep at night. It helps us just feel better about ourselves. And it's also a thank you to super producer Bree, who does so much work on this show. She's in all the meetings with us. She's making the back end happen. All the video, all the pictures, all the nonsense you see happen throughout the show would not be possible without Bree. So hit that thumbs up button. It takes very little effort, and it does a lot for us. But thank you for being here. As always, thank you to Mark Jackson, Sal,
What up, Mark?
Brian C., Jay the Jungle, Mom's grandchildren.
Hey,
thank
Mom.
you to Mom, as always.
Talk to her.
Spirit 42, Nick Aub, Jorge,
What up, Nick?
Luke, Jorge, who was the star of the chat yesterday.
Jorge
by
is
the way.
back, man.
Good to see you, Jorge. Luke SD54, Keith B, Tom Jackson.
What up, Keith?
Martian Lynch.
Back in the mix.
America's Most Wanted.
It's time
hanging
for the
out
season,
again.
man.
Sean Ford, Tyler Simpson, Burning Sky, Frank McKay,
Frankie.
Music Lover 31, DJ aka Mr. Sandman,
Bring me a dream.
Ray Philly Fly, Jesse Bond, Provolone John, Mellow 3 Point,
Hello, my man.
Charles.
Chuck.
Devon always loves the Chuck part of that. Duck Holiday, Blanche Devereaux in the house,
Blanche. We love it.
Headfa,
Invite us on the show, Blanche. We can act.
Miko Suave.
Oh, Miko.
That one got me. Elliot Petoskey. What's up to
That's
Elliot?
who Jorge is.
Miko Suave. My girl Nona hanging out with us. Liam Stevens. B Knight.
Be nice.
Say what?
Say what?
Win Forever. SB Cole. Jess. Val.
7-4. Say what?
Smy Guy,
Hey,
a.k.a. Smoggy. Buddha Life. Dave P. Densley Richard. Coleman Potts. Eugene Ross. Theo.
What up, Gene?
And of course, my man, the legendary, the notorious, the diabetes king himself, Wilford Brimley, kicking things off today.
What
Love
up,
your work,
Will?
Wilford. Thank you for stopping through.
What up, Will?
I still don't trust you. I think you may be the thing after all these years, but I guess we'll never find out. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Oh,
On the way
man.
out, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you get notifications each and every time we go live. And once again, hit that thumbs up button. Helps us, helps the channel. It helps you because you keep getting bigger and better content. We will be back tomorrow for a big NBA season predictions show. See if we were as wrong as we were about most things last year. We did get the title winner right, at least
Wilford
a couple of
Brimley.
us, and we were all in on the Thunder.
We're all running
Don't
back our
forget
Coach
that.
of the Year predictions, baby. It worked out
All
so
right.
well last time.
See you tomorrow at 3 p.m. And then it's Friday post game for the final preseason game. We are just a week away from the opener. Stay with us until then, and certainly for the rest of the season. Until tomorrow, stay safe. Take care of one another. Goodbye.
See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.